So CSLB has been conducting site sweeps of the various construction sites in California. CSLB is the California Contractor State Licensing Board, and their job is to make sure that any workers who are performing construction work, that they're properly licensed. What does this mean? It means that for a general contractor who hires a worker or a subcontractor who's not licensed, and that worker is performing licensed work, which is basically almost anything that's done on a job site, that they're subject to potential criminal action that basically from the case, as well as large penalties from EDD. And EDD is the government entity in California that audits companies and ensures that workers are properly classified as employees and not as independent contractors. So let's talk a little bit about what a site sweep means. Contractors can be targeted by CSLB and a whole host of various government agencies in California. Well, they'll just basically drive by, identify a physical area, maybe a block or a couple blocks, and look for construction sites. And they'll go on to the site, interview workers, and identify if the worker's performing licensed work, that they are properly licensed. So if you're hiring a laborer for the day and that person's not licensed and they're digging a ditch, and you can expect that CSLB, if they find that worker and they interview them, that you could have a stop work order, and CSLB will open up an investigation. And what happens at that point is that they'll produce a report. They'll refer that report to two different agencies, one to the local district attorney's office in your city, as well as EDD. So what does it mean from a criminal perspective? This is basically workers' compensation fraud, because a worker who should be classified as an employee and you would be paying payroll taxes into the state, as well as having workers' compensation insurance on that worker's work. If they're not properly classified and you're giving them a 1099 or simply paying them in cash, there potentially is no income being reported to the state, and there's no insurance. So it's basically workers' compensation insurance fraud. On the other side of the spectrum, if you hire contractors who are licensed, you should be checking their licenses regularly. You can hire a subcontractor or a worker who is licensed to do plumbing, for instance, but their license could become suspended in the middle of the job. So you want to check their license frequently, and it could be monthly, it could be more often. It really, is based on what your risk tolerance level is, but we recommend at least once a month just to check the license, make sure it hasn't become suspended. It can become suspended if the bond is not renewed or provided to the CSLB, or the workers' compensation insurance lapses, which can typically happen. So hopefully these are some tips to help you avoid risk in the future.